Hi guys. Today we're going to focus on just parallel lines. As a refresher, parallel lines are two lines that never cross or never intersect. Not just on the part of the graph that you can see, but if you extend the lines forever, they will never touch. Parallel lines will always have the exact same slope as each other. Here is an example of two parallel lines. I can prove that these two lines are parallel by proving that they have the same slope. To find slope, we need to put two dots on our line, and then we're going to count our rise and our run. So starting at the leftmost dot, I'm going to rise 2 and run 3. So my slope for this line is 2 over 3. Looking at my bottom line, I have my two dots, and my rise and my run. I'm going to rise positive 2 and also run positive 3. Now that I have proven that both of these lines have a slope of 2/3, I can now say for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, that these lines are definitely parallel. Today's homework and tonight's Delta Math are going to focus on creating parallel lines. So we're going to give you a line, and then your job is going to be to graph a line parallel to that. And it's all about the slopes. Okay, so here's our first example. And this is like the directions that the book is going to have, but I'm going to alter the directions for you. So please use my directions and not the book's directions. So the book's directions say write an equation in slope-intercept form of a line parallel to y equals 2x plus 3, and that passes through -3 comma -1. So now I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to write an equation. All that I want you to do tonight, and all you're going to do on your Delta Math tonight, is you're going to graph a line. So we're changing the directions from the textbook into graph a line parallel to y equals 2x plus 3, and that passes through -3 comma -1. Okay, so graphing tonight. Graphing, no equations, graphing. All right, so to get a line parallel to this original line, we should graph that original line so we can see what it looks like. So here's a refresher from Monday's lesson. Graphing will also be on your test next week, so it's good to refresh our memories. So when it's in slope-intercept form, we start by graphing our y-intercept, which is +3 right here. And then we graph our slope. Now in this problem, our slope is 2 over 1. Make sure that your slope is always written as a fraction. So from this dot, I'm going to rise 2 and run 1. Okay, and so this is my original line. Now my plan is to graph a second line that is parallel to this red line, and it also has to touch this ordered pair. So first, it's really important that we know the slope of the original equation. And so again, the slope from the original equation is 2 over 1. Next, we need a starting point to graph. So that starting point is going to be the point that was given to us. So I'm going to graph -3 comma -1. I'm going to do it in a different color so that I know it's separate from the line that's already on there. So -3, -1 is down here. So remember, on an ordered pair, the first number is your x coordinate and the second number is your y coordinate. Now, if I want my second line to be parallel to the first line, they need to have the same slope. And so it's important that I identify the slope from the original line and that I decide that my second line will also have that slope. So my new line also should have a slope of +2 over +1. And we remember when we're graphing lines, I like you to have at least 3 points. So I'm going to do it one more time, +2 and +1, and then I'll graph that line. And this green line is my final answer to this question. So again, on tonight's homework, I want you to graph two parallel lines. One line has been given to you. The second line you need to create given an ordered pair and by using the same slope. Let's do one more example just so that we can feel a little confident. So on this example, again, I'm going to be changing the directions into graph a line that is parallel to y equals negative 2 over 5 x minus 3, and that passes through the point negative 5 comma 7. Okay, so graph a line. Okay, I like to start by graphing the line given to me. That would be the one that has an equation, right? And so we're going to start by graphing the negative 3 on the y-axis. So all the way down here to negative 3. And then I'm going to graph my slope. Now, this slope is a negative slope. So we've talked about this a couple times. When you have a negative slope, the negative only belongs to one of the numbers. And I always like to put it with the top number. So whether your slope is positive or negative, you should always go to the right. So negative 2 over 5, I'm going to go down 2, but I'm going to go right 5. Right 5. And notice how my line is sloping downward, right? It starts tall and it goes downward. That's what a negative sloping line should look like. All right, I'm ready to find my second line. So first, really important that I remember my slope of my first line is negative 2 over 5. Now I'm going to graph the ordered pair that was given to me, negative 5 comma 7. So I'm going to go left 5 on the x-axis and then up 7. So this is my starting dot. And then if I want my lines to be parallel, then they should have the same slope. So I'm going to take this slope, negative 2 over 5, and I'm going to use it a second time, negative 2 over 5. So from this dot, I'm going to go down 2 and right, positive 5, right? Down 2, positive 5. And I connect my dots. So this is what I want your paper homework to look like tonight. And then on your Delta Math homework tonight, it's the same thing. You're going to graph, they're going to give you a graph of a line. You're going to graph a second line. And then there's also going to be at the bottom, so you're going to have to scroll down a little bit. There's going to be a place for you to write in what your slopes are. So you'll also have to write in, my original slope is negative 2 over 5, and my parallel slope is also negative 2 over 5. So just make sure that you're answering the question completely. This concludes today's lesson.